There's a divine intelligence woven into every aspect of your life, even your mistakes, even your heartbreaks, even the moments when you feel like you've hit the ground so hard that you'll never rise again. But what if I told you that you were meant to fall? What if the fall wasn't a failure, but an assignment? A setup, not a setback. You see, we don't grow in the mountain, we grow in the valley, in the deep shadows of disappointment, in the hollow silence of rejection, and in the long nights of fear. That's where the soul stretches. That's where resilience is born. And that is where the real you begins to emerge. So many of us have been conditioned to believe that falling is shameful, that stumbling somehow disqualifies us from our purpose. But falling doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're human. And rising after the fall doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you found your strength. We often ask, why did this happen to me? But the more empowering question is you. What is this trying to teach me? Every fall contains a message. Every breakdown hides the seed of a breakthrough. The wisdom is already encoded in your suffering, waiting for you to listen, to reflect, and to rise. The moment you stop resisting the fall and begin to trust its purpose, everything begins to shift. You stop defining yourself by your pain and start defining yourself by your courage to overcome it. You are never just the person who fell. You are the person who stood back with fire in your eyes and purpose in your step. This is the truth. You weren't just meant to rise. You were meant to fall so you could rise stronger, stronger in character, stronger in faith, stronger in who you are and what you're here to become. No fall is final unless you choose not to rise. So the next time life knocks you down, smile inwardly and say, this too is part of the journey. This too is making me. This too shall lift me, because after the fall comes the rise. And after the rise comes a version of you that the world has never seen before. We often believe that if something goes wrong in our lives, a failure, a loss, a heartbreak, it must mean we took the wrong turn. We punish ourselves with regret, wondering what we could have done differently. But the truth is, falling is not evidence that you've lost your way. In fact, it might be the very sign that you're on the right path, the one that's shaping you into who you were always meant to be. There is a divine rhythm to life, an unseen intelligence that orchestrates our experiences, not to her to heal us. Sometimes the fall is necessary because without it, we would never slow down, never reflect, never become still enough to hear the truth speaking from within. Life doesn't just allow the fall, it requires it. Because through it, you discover how deep your roots run and how much fire you carry in your soul. Think of every person who ever became something extraordinary. A leader, a healer, an artist, a survivor. They all have one thing in common: they fell. And their fall awakened something, a deeper calling, a greater capacity to love, a raw and honest strength. So don't resent the fall. Honor it. Because you weren't meant to stay in the comfortable places forever. You were meant to be broken open so that something truer could emerge. The fall is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your rising. You are not punished by the fall. You were prepared by it. Growth happens in the valley, not the peak. We all strive for the peak moments, the celebrations, the victories, the achievements that bring applause and recognition. But here's the truth we often forgetting. The mountain peak is where we're seen, but the valley is where we're shaped. When you're at the top, everything looks beautiful. But you're not being challenged there. You're not being refined. There's a little struggle, and with that, often little growth. The real inner transformation, the kind that shifts your mindset, deepens your empathy, and awakens your spiritual strength, happens when you're down in the depths, not when you're standing tall. The valley is where you confront your fears, your doubts, your identity. It's where you're forced to look inward, to reflect, to question. That kind of inner work doesn't happen when life is easy. It happens when life feels unbearable. And that is what makes you stronger. Think of a seed planted deep in the soil. Before it ever rises to bloom in the sun, it must break open in the dark. It must push against the earth, stretch toward the surface, and grow roots strong enough to sustain its life. The same is true for you. Your struggles are not set, they are your soil. And you are being rooted, not ruined. So if you find yourself in a low place, don't despise it. Let it grow you, let it humble you. When it teach you, one day when you do reach your next peak, you'll look back and realizing the valley was the most sacred part of the journey, because the valley doesn't take your power away. It reveals it. Or you are not your fall. It's easy to confuse what happened to you with who you are. You made a mistake, so you think you are a mistake. You failed at something, so you begin to feel like a failure. But the truth is this: you are not your fall. The fall is an event, not a definition. It's a moment in time, not your identity. Just like night doesn't cancel out the day, your fall doesn't cancel out your worth. You are still worthy, still chosen, even when you are in pieces. So many of us carry shame like a second skin. We let one painful chapter stain our entire story. But if you can separate yourself from the event, if you can say, I fell, but I am not the fall, you'll begin to reclaim your power. you'll realize that you're not broken, you're becoming. Imagine a child learning to walk. They fall constantly, and yet we never label that child as a failure. Why? Because we know the fall is part of the learning. The same is true for you. Falling doesn't mean you're incapable. It means you're in process. Even in your lowest moment, there is something in you that remains untouched. Your spirit, your light, your inner knowing. That part of you is not shaken by any fall. That part of you is eternal and unbreakable. So don't let your wounds rewrite your worth. Don't let one chapter define the whole book. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become after it. You are not your fall. You are the courage that gets back up. A pain contains purpose. Pain is a great teacher, though it rarely feels like one in the moment. When we're hurting, our instinct is to numb it, run from it, or try to fix it as fast as possible. But pain doesn't come to destroy us. It comes to awaken us. Every painful experience in your life carries a hidden message, a deeper meaning. It's the universe's way of getting your attention. Sometimes we're moving so fast, so distracted, so disconnected from ourselves that pain is the only thing that can bring us back into the present, back into awareness. The most life-altering wisdom often doesn't come from books or lectures. It comes from heartbreak, from betrayal, from failure. These moments shake us to our core. And in that shaking, something sacred is revealed. We begin to ask questions we've never asked before. We gain empathy we didn't know we were capable of. We drop our masks and meet our real selves. So instead of resisting pain, try sitting with it. Listen to it. Ask it what it's here to teach you. When you stop treating pain like a punishment, you start to see it as a portal, one that leads you back to your most authentic self. There is a seed of purpose in every wound. If you plant it, water it with reflection, and nourish it with patience, it will bloom into something beautiful. Wisdom, compassion, strength, clarity. What was once your greatest sorrow can become your greatest service to others. Don't waste your pain. Let it refine you. Let it guide you. Let it elevate you. Because inside every scar is a story that can help someone else rise. Let go of resistance. Embrace the lesson. We often exhaust ourselves trying to change what's already happened. We resist reality, replaying it in our minds, wishing it had gone differently. But no amount of resistance can undo the past. It only keeps us stuck in it. True healing begins the moment we stop resisting the fall and start trusting its purpose. When you ask, why did this happen to me? You stay in the role of the victim. But when you shift to, what is this trying to teach me? You step into your power. You open yourself to growth. You transform the experience from something that hurt you into something that shaped you. Resistance is rooted in fear. Fear of change, fear of discomfort, fear of the unknown. But embracing the lesson allows grace to enter. It allows you to make peace with the present moment and see that even in chaos, there is order. Even in loss, there is learning. Acceptance doesn't mean you're okay with what happened. It means you're choosing not to let it define your future. You're choosing to evolve instead of escape. When you release resistance, you reclaim your energy. You start noticing the subtle ways the universe is guiding you. You begin to see that your fall was not a detour, but a direction, leading you to deeper awareness and greater strength. So let go of the what-ifs. Let go of the need to control. Let go of the inner war. And instead ask the question that changes everything. What is life trying to show me right now? That's when the lesson becomes clear. That's when healing begins. And that's when the fall starts to feel like a gift in disguise. The rising stronger is your birthright. You are not born to stay down. You were born to rise again and again, no matter how many times life knocks you over. Rising isn't just something you do. It's part of who you are. Inside of you is an ancient strength that no failure, no heartbreak, no setback can erase. It's the same strength that pulled you through every hard season you thought would break you. You've already survived things you didn't think you could. And that's proof that the rise is already in you. Rising stronger doesn't mean pretending nothing happened. It doesn't mean avoiding the pain or faking resilience. It means facing the pain, honoring the fall, and choosing to get back up with wisdom you didn't have before. Every time you rise, you become more you. The wiser you, the softer but stronger you. The version of yourself that doesn't fear failure because you've seen what it teaches. The you who has scars and wears them like armor. Don't let anyone convince you that the fall is the end. Don't believe the voice that says you're too far gone or damaged to begin again. You are never too broken to be rebuilt. And often the rebuilding creates something more powerful than what existed before. You were born for this, not just to survive, but to rise. Not just to rise, but to rise stronger. So when the world sees your scars, let them shine. Let them tell the story of how you fell and how you refused to stay there, because your rise will inspire others to believe in theirs. You were meant to fall. So you could rise stronger. Life is not a straight line, nor is it a constant ascent. It is a dance of rising and falling, breaking and healing, losing and rediscovering. And in every fall, there is a quiet invitation from the universe to begin again, not from the same place, but from a higher level of wisdom, strength, and self-awareness. You were never meant to avoid the fall. You were meant to embrace it, to walk through it, to allow it to carve away what no longer serves you, so that your true essence could shine through every stumble, every heartbreak, every closed door. They didn't come to destroy you. They came to prepare you, to mold you into someone capable of holding the life you're meant to live. Think of the fall not as a failure, but as a sacred turning point, a moment that split your life into before and after, not to mark your defeat, but to mark your becoming. You didn't fall because you were weak. You fell because it was time for you to grow into your higher self. So, rise. Rise not with bitterness, but with gratitude. Rise not by erasing the pain, but by owning it and learning from it. Rise not to prove others wrong, but to prove to yourself that you were always capable. You were meant to fall, because only through the fall could you uncover the depth of your strength, the clarity of your purpose, and the fire of your soul. Now rise. Rise stronger. Rise wise in truth, because the world doesn't need a perfect version of you. It needs the resilient, real, and rising one